I was at this monument. It was like during the day. And this man, he looked kind of like Eastern European, kept coming up to me and asking for a photo. So at first I was like, yeah, no problem, whatever. That's kind of common when you're blonde in countries.
I was going to say.
Yeah. But then he kept taking photos of me, like just in general. And he had this like old phone. This phone was like a flip phone.
Yeah.
Like it looked like a burner phone, right? I don't know. Maybe
okay.
not, but it was weird.
Hey everyone, I'm Derrick Fox and you're watching A Bunch of Losers. My guest today is Katy Jonson from season 1 of Joe Millionaire. We talk about being on a dating show and then quickly get into one of the most fascinating chats yet. She's been to 93 countries and trying to hit 100 before the year is over. I'll say less and let you hear it from Katy. Let's go, loser.
Katy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, for everyone, Katy was on Joe Millionaire.
Joe Millionaire.
First season.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. What the dating shows are always, they're a different kind of competition show, right? Like
Right.
I'm physically creating something for then like my idols to judge.
Yeah.
You know, like Gordon Ramsay's going to tell me that my steak is great or not. And
Right.
that's fucking terrifying.
Sure.
But like dating, it's like usually in the real world, you take time,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
So for a reality competition show about dating, you're taking the time out of it. You're cramming it
Yeah.
into little segments.
It's like a microwave. You're literally like putting a relationship in a microwave and putting it on like 60 seconds and trying to get it to cook in a pressure cooker.
Love that.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Fuck, it stresses me out, but also it's like, so I mean, it's kind of, don't take this the wrong way. Where are you in your life that you're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Good question. So, I had originally been approached kind of at the beginning of the year. And, they said, would you want to be on this dating show? We've had your information in store for like 8 years or something when you auditioned for another show. And I had no idea what show they were even talking about. But they were like, we have your information and we just wanted to like come back by. I'm thinking like 8 years later.
Jesus.
Okay. But I had just gotten out of a relationship like 2 weeks before and I was very bitter and just like, yeah, fuck it. Like, why not? And basically I had the mindset of like, well, I'm probably not going to make it to the end anyway. So I'll just keep kind of jumping through these hoops while I have free time. And I kept making it to the next round and the next round. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is kind of getting real now.
Right.
And then it was down to like, I had my screen test kind of thing. And
you're talking about before even making it on camera.
yeah, before making it on the show. And, one of the producers called me and they were like, you have you're one of the favorites to win. You've been cast. We're all excited, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking like, holy shit, I really didn't think that this was going to happen, nor did I care. And I think that's the beauty of the process is that there was like no expectation and there was no kind of attachment to it. I was just like, oh, cool. If it happens, it might be a cool experience. If not, don't care either.
Yeah. So, well, that's a good mindset to be in for going on something like this. Because, I mean, like, what's her name? Carolyn?
Carolyn, yep.
Like, right out the gate, you're like, this girl will cut you for this man.
She, you know what? I love Carolyn, and she is somebody, she knows what she wants and she goes for it. And I have so much respect for that.
Mad
I love
respect.
that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked it. I mean, spoiler, everyone that hasn't watched, but like watching it go on, and I haven't finished the season yet. I had a cram. I watched actually like 6 more episodes after you got cut.
Okay.
But I was like, I got to go cram other shows because I have more guests today.
Yeah, sure.
So I was just like, man, but I want to finish it. But like, like I'm sitting there in the house, like talking to the TV, like I'm so invested. I'm like, Carolyn, you came out the gate too hard. Like, he likes you. And then you give him, she's like, go date the other women. So that when you pick me, you really wanted me. And then she immediately got jealous. It was like, what are you doing? You gave him you're gonna hang him after you gave him the rope? I was like,
yeah, it's hard. It's hard as a woman when we.
So kind of jumping forward, but I'll come back to some other questions. But jumping forward, since we're on the topic of like jealousy, like what is that like? Like you meet these guys, you start talking to them, you're kind of like, I mean, there's no other guys there. It's these two guys, so it's like you're gonna naturally start feeling something, and then there's all these other women. Yeah.
So, I'm just going to be like, frank with you. Like I wasn't. So right away when the guys came out, I was kind of just like, oh, these kind of aren't really my guys.
Oh, interesting.
But there is that aspect of like, it's still your ego, right? You're still like in a competition. So you want to do well. So when you're not getting that time or attention, it might not even be about the guy. It's just about, well, you start looking inward, like, why am I not good enough? And all these things go through your head. And it's really like kind of a mental, like, it's a mind fuck a bit.
Yeah.
And you're just like competing with these women who you also love, but it's more of like your own insecurities. And it's a really weird, unless you've been through it, it's hard to describe,
Well, because you also start developing relationships with the girls because you're spending more time with them.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And so then you start making judgments based on like other things that really like that in the real world that wouldn't play in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it would happen to us on like the cooking show, like where we spend more time at the hotel and in the green room. So we're developing these relationships. And when it comes time to pick your team, like you're not like some people don't pick based off of your culinary skill. They're picking a friendship. And it's like, you're here to cook. Pick the best cook. What is your problem?
Yep. And you're so right. Like, and even the boys, I think Kurt said one time, he was like, I feel like you girls are here more to be best friends than to find love.
Yeah.
And
I genuinely feel he really wanted to find love. Like there were moments where he really convinced me. I'll say that. He convinced me.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I like Kurt. I have no issues with him. I think he maybe thought that's what he wanted and then maybe got overwhelmed with the process and was kind of like, you know what? I don't know. This is a lot. Like most guys, they go in for it like they really want it. And when shit gets real, they're like, actually, you know what? This is a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. I think I'm like opposite. Like I like become so meticulous. Like I like to analyze everything before I step in. But I think that's because I've gotten getting older. You start doing that because like when I was young, I jumped in all the time. I was like, this is not working. I need to flip this and then step back, figure it out, test the waters, but then I become more invested, and then I'll sit in the heaviness and take stuff that I shouldn't take.
Sure.
And I was in a relationship for like 2 years that I should have ended like the second day I was with that person.
Yeah.
But
we've all been there.
Yeah. So I kind of jumped ahead. I wanted to ask you like when they reveal the guys, like how much time before you got there on set, in your house, in the wherever, to meeting the guys?
So, there was like 20 of us, I think, and it was taking so long. Like I remember I was they told me to be ready at 4 p.m., hair and makeup, and I'm sitting in my hotel room, and I think I only got picked up at like 11:30.
At night?
Yes. And I'm like, are you kidding? My makeup looks like crap now. My hair's shit. It's flat.
It all out.
Like I'm just like, ugh, I don't even look cute now. But then we got there at 11:30, and I think they only revealed the guys at like 3 a.m. So it was like a long night, and we talked with the girls. Like I think I was one of the last ones to enter the house. And I immediately started talking to a few of the girls, and we kind of got to know each other. And then we're waiting for this big reveal, and they reveal one guy, and I'm like, okay. And then they bring another one out, and I was like, okay. And then I thought, what kind of dating show is this? Are there going to be more? Awesome, like more selections.
Right, because did you know there was going to be two in the beginning? Right, you didn't know.
No.
So you're like, I'm going to compete for one guy.
Yes, we were told it was Fox's version of The Bachelor.
Right.
So that's just what I anticipated it being.
Okay.
So then when they brought two guys, I'm like, okay, so wait, is there going to be 3, 4, 5? But it was 2.
It was 2.
Yeah.
And then when they dropped the bomb on you, they're like, one's a millionaire, one's not.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I honestly at that point didn't care because I'm somebody that I've dated really rich men and I've dated guys with literally nothing. So for me, I was just like, I don't care who them. Like, if I have a connection with somebody, then I have a connection with them. I don't really care.
Okay.
So, and I think honestly, a lot of girls I don't think really cared, and that's what I didn't like. Maybe portrayals that women were gold diggers there, because I can genuinely say that none of the girls there were gold diggers, truly.
Yeah, that seemed like they seemed to like get over that like later on. It was like they were really stirring that up in the beginning, and then as the show went on, it was like there's so much more drama than who has how much money. You know? Like,
exactly. Or
like, let's move on.
Like in the real world, when you're dating a guy, you're not trying to figure out how much money he has. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't typically, maybe some girls in LA, but
there are,
it's just always been kind of a foreign concept to have those kind of conversations over and over again. But
I can already tell, like from just sitting here talking with you have a confidence, you have the ability to, like, that doesn't bother you because you're your own person.
Sure.
No one else is going to make you who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are people that don't function like that in life, that are scared to be themselves and think that they got to find a man that has money or else their life is going to be nothing. Like, which is a wild thought, but I don't know.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah.
It's a very dependent thought, which terrifies me. But anyways, like, no.
So before you decided to go on this show, you had to take time off of work, or what you were like, what were you doing?
Yeah. So I was traveling at the time. I have a travel blog, and I've been shooting a documentary about women's empowerment around the world. So that's kind of on my own time because I've written, directed, produced, done all of it. So that's kind of my own little project.
Wow.
And then I work bottle service on the weekends. And I have an amazing boss who lets me take off. That's why I love the job. I work 12 hours a week. I make insane money. And my boss, all the time, once a month, I'm like, hey, I'm going to Egypt or I'm going to Sri Lanka. And he's like, okay, see ya.
That's
have
amazing.
Fun. So
that's a special power that I think a confident, pretty woman can, like, if she figures it out, like, you can work in a club like that, make insane money, and then go travel.
Yeah.
Like guys can't really do that.
No,
There are some like gay clubs that,
that they'll make good tips. Yeah.
But like that's an even smaller percentage.
Yeah. And you know what? I used to get down on myself about like doing bottle service, I think, because exes would give me crap about it. And I'm just like, you know what?
Jealous.
Like, I've always been told work smarter, not harder. And like, if I can work 12 hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 10:30 to 2:30, make X amount of money and be able to afford my own trips.
Yeah.
No sugar daddy needed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. And then I can do, like, in the day, I can have another job. I can go on if I was acting, modeling, anything I want.
You can fully fund any one of your creative ideas. Yeah. I mean, look, and every guy out there is lying that says if he could be a beautiful woman and go do bottle service, he wouldn't. Like, bullshit. I would do it so fast.
Yeah.
I would do it so fast.
Easiest. Holding up sparklers and champagne.
Because it's also kind of fun. It's like,
I can drink, I drink a little bit, have a few glasses of champagne.
And then you go home and you laugh. You're like,
you're
like, this is just crazy.
I'm like, this person just spent $25,000 in the club. What an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I've ordered bottle service before and I'm like, okay. Cool. I did it. All right, I'm done. Yeah. I tried it.
You're like, it's a waste of money.
Yeah. But that's also because, like, I work being a chef. It's a lot of hard work. So,
definitely.
It's one of the things. But like, I got to the point I was like, I need to be a chef that makes this much money so I can pursue my endeavors.
Yeah.
And that's like I'm doing here, like doing this, and I'm working. Well, so what's the documentary? How far along into the documentary are you? Like, are you shopping it around, or what are you doing with it?
So that's what I want to be doing now. So I filmed I interview a woman in every country about women's empowerment, equality, social media standards, beauty standards in that country. There's a lot of layers to it, but yeah, I've met incredible women, and I have about 70 interviews in 70 different countries, like 5-6 different languages. I have Turkish language, I have Kazakh language, Italian, Spanish.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's really special. And then so now I have like a little teaser trailer, and I'm working on a pitch deck, and then I will get that out to networks. And because I want to reshoot it, because I did everything. I took like a crash course for lighting.
Keep talking. I'm pulling something up.
Lighting, microphones, everything. And I kind of did it, and it's not terrible, but like it could be shot better. For the idea, I want to have a proper like production team, you know?
Because I mean, this day and age, that matters big time.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna link you with somebody, and this person is very aware of this podcast.
Okay. Great.
One of their family members is the producer of this podcast. But
amazing. Okay, cool.
this person is very much in that whole world about.
Okay.
She has a whole thing where she brings like successful women together, and it's like it's all about, you know, empowering what you guys are doing. So
I love that.
I gotta link you guys. Like what you're saying, like she's gonna love it. She's gonna be so excited.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah.
But that's super cool. So you've been to like, I think it said on your Instagram, like 93 countries.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to 100 by my birthday in April. It's a little bit of a stretch. I have that would be 7, and I know I have like 3 for sure. But I'm like, I need to get 4 more in by then. It's gonna be tough, but we'll see.
Wow.
That's the goal. So.
Wow. What are you gonna? What do you want your 100th country to be?
Well, that's what I have to also be very strategic about. Is like 100 is going to be like a big celebration, and I feel like I've been to most of the countries that I really want to go to now. So I'm like, I really have to figure out. And around that time, I'm going to be around like Australia, because I'm going to do Australia, Fiji, Samoa. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do like some islands in Oceania, like Tuvalu, Vanuatu, kind of some really tiny little islands.
Have you been to Palawan?
Yes.
You have?
I went for my birthday last year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I got recommended by Andrew Zimmern, you know, the host of Bizarre Foods.
Okay.
Most people know him as the guy that eats bugs. But,
yeah.
I got to do an event with him, and he recommended that. I haven't
It's
gone
incredible.
there.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
He's right. It's amazing.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, I spent my birthday there last year.
Wow.
So special.
How long were you there?
So I was in the Philippines for 10 days. I was in Palawan for, I think, 5. So Palawan, there's different islands, and I did a boat trip. And this is so not me, right? I'm like staying in the Ritz-Carlton and whatever, but I'm from Iowa. So I can do like, well, I used to do like the whole roughing it, but so this isn't so basically I did a boat trip from Coron to El Nido in Palawan. It was a 3-day boat trip. We slept in tents on the beach, no showers, no proper bathrooms, like just literally fished for our food. This is not something that I've done in a very long time, since I was like 15 in Iowa. But it was so therapeutic and I also had no cell phone reception for 3 days. No cell phone reception. And it was such an amazing experience, and it was so beautiful. And on this boat trip, we snorkeled and scuba dived at like some of the most beautiful, pristine beaches and sandbars you've ever seen in your life that you can only kind of get to by boat. And it was incredible, truly. Wow. So it was, sleeping in tent, and there's lots of mosquitoes. And like I said, you're not showering, you're just kind of showering in the ocean in the morning. And yeah, it was an experience, but I loved it.
That sounds awesome, especially when you know, like it's only going to be for so long. So you're not like I'm stuck here. This is the rest of my life. Yeah. It's like I can go a week with just rinsing off in the ocean.
Yeah.
Who cares? That sounds amazing.
No, it was awesome.
Have you been to Malta?
Yes. Yeah. Malta
was the first country I visited. I jumped into the Mediterranean.
Yeah. Oh, the waters are really nice.
It was so awesome. And it's kind of funny being a chef, because I wasn't a chef then, but my favorite memory about it was when I got out the salt that was on my skin. Like I was brushing salt off.
Did you go to the Blue Lagoon there?
I did not.
Like that little island? Okay, right. Because that's really nice there.
No,
very crowded, but
we checked out the glass blowing. I was dating a girl that like family had a house and a condo there.
Okay, nice.
So we weren't doing a lot of touristy stuff.
Sure,
We were
okay.
just hanging out.
It's a nice country though.
So nice.
Really, yeah.
So
I wrote a blog about it. Mesmerizing Malta.
Oh my goodness. Where do we find your blog? You're still blogging, yes?
Yeah, you know what? I took a year off, so I need to get back into it. But I have so many blogs. Like I've been to most countries that any tourist would want to go to. So it's onemodelmission.com.
Okay.
So one spelled out, model mission. So I'm like one model on a mission around the world to find beauty for a purpose.
Wow.
So yeah.
What inspired this?
So I went through a divorce in 2017 and I was devastated.
Pause right there. Before getting divorced, how many countries had you been to?
I had been to around, I think, 25.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps. Yeah. Like around 20, 25, I'd say. Yeah.
All right. So 2017.
Yeah. So was going through a divorce, super sad, trying to kind of find, I was turning 30 and I was just kind of like, what am I going to do now? Like I thought I was going to like be married forever and have kids. And one thing I love is traveling. I've loved to travel. And also I love empowering people and making people feel good and special and teaching them their self-worth. And I was really struggling with my self-worth at the time because of my failed marriage, so to speak. So I thought, okay, if I travel the world, meet women, interview them, I'll teach them, but they're going to also teach me things and I'm going to learn from them. And it was just this beautiful kind of like symbiotic relationship of us, teaching each other and it was really incredible and fulfilling, and it helped me get through my divorce so much. So
that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great.
That's what I love talking with people. Like this podcast, I only do in person.
Yeah.
I don't do the Zoom for this podcast because I think it's really important to have conversations with people that you wouldn't normally have a conversation with.
Yeah.
But I have one common thing, and that's we went on a reality show and lost.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we have this one common thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about life.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you do that, you become more empathetic.
Absolutely.
You become more passionate about things. Cause I'm like, man, like that many countries. I'm thinking, how many countries have I been to? And then like literally just this week, my family, we decided we're going to go to Thailand for my birthday this year.
Okay, great.
So we're like, so now I'm like super excited about it because like it's going to be my first like Asian country, which is exciting. I mean, I've been dying to go to Japan, especially as a chef. Like, can't even imagine. Like, but then like, we were all talking, and it was like I got time off from work that I know I'm gonna have, and so we're like, let's go to Thailand. And I'm like, and now I'm like, even now just like talking to you, like seeing your face light up about all these countries and stuff. It's like it's gonna be so much fun.
You're gonna love it. Thailand is so special. So actually, Thailand was my first solo trip that I did.
Wow.
Completely on my own.
Why did you pick Thailand?
I just had always wanted to go, and I was actually supposed to go with my ex-husband, and he canceled like 2 weeks before. Well, didn't cancel completely. He just had work obligations, and he was going to meet me later.
You guys were still married at the time.
We were still married at the time, yeah. So I thought, okay, well, I can cancel my 2 weeks and just wait for him, or I just go and wing it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go. And all my friends are like, oh, are you sure? It's dangerous. You're alone. I'm like, it's fine. Like, I've taken care of myself most of my life. I've been like literally self-sufficient since I was like 8. So I landed in Bangkok, and I had a hotel booked, but I landed there and no one was there to wait for me. I just figured it out, got a cab, went to the money exchange, got to my hotel, and I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And I went 2 weeks. I did Thailand, I did Cambodia, I did Malaysia, and I met my ex-husband in Singapore.
Wow.
And then we went back to Thailand after that. But Thailand is incredible.
Like, is there like, if you went back to Thailand tomorrow, like where's the first place you would go?
Well, so I think Bangkok is incredibly special. Okay. And you need like even if you have 24 hours there, it's enough to really just scratch the surface, get a taste of it. And then from there, I'd go to the islands. Krabi, I love. Koh Samui. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Chiang Mai, I really loved because of all the pagodas and the temples. And Chiang Rai is all the way up north with the white temples. There's so much in Thailand. I mean, really. Riley Beach, incredible.
I'm going to have to hit you up before we go.
Yeah, please. I love, my passion. I love telling people about travel.
That's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'll love it.
I'm just kind of like mesmerized. I'm just like thinking like 93 countries, and then like you're listing off like these I couldn't even name back all those, but like because you've been there, like it becomes a core memory, right?
Yeah.
Like
absolutely. And you know what I did too so when I started planning this trip, because the goal is to go to every country, interview one woman in every country. So I did a lot of research. I mean, I had on my floor huge maps. Like 5 different ones. And I had like kind of my route. And then I had one map. This sounds crazy, but I had one map just for like, I needed to know where all the kidnappings were, where the dangerous things that had happened, any incidents. I had everything from 1990 to now all on this map. So I knew all the countries that I needed to be a little more cautious. Then I had another map that I was learning like the capitals of all the countries or the cities. So like if I'm, in East Africa and I need to go to, Sierra Leone or wherever, like I know that city, that country. Or if I'm like West Africa, sorry, that's West Africa. Sierra Leone is West Africa. If anyone's listening to this, they're going to be like East Africa. East Africa would be like Eritrea, Ethiopia, those countries. But I try to learn so much about where everything was, the geography of the world. And it was, that alone was really like cool,
Have you had any incidences in these countries where like you were like worried, panicked, nervous, or needed help?
Yeah.
Like
so
from...
I would say the incidents I've had. So I once was with a girlfriend in Prague, Czech Republic, which again, it's a great city. It's not dangerous. It's just sometimes you'll get weirdos anywhere. But we had a guy follow us all around the city late at night. And we kept like going weird ways to see. And and then he followed us to the hotel. So then we called the police. That was one time. And then the other time I was alone, I was in Baku in Azerbaijan.
Wait, so where is this?
Azerbaijan. So it's a country, it's very famous and rich in oil. So it's kind of, it would be to the east of Turkey, above Iran.
Okay.
Kind of in that area. Okay. And I was at this monument. It was like during the day. And this man, he looked kind of like Eastern European, kept coming up to me and asking for a photo. So at first I was like, yeah, no problem, whatever. That's kind of common when you're blonde in countries.
I was going to say.
Yeah. But then he kept taking photos of me, like just in general. And he had this like old phone. This phone was like a flip phone. Like it looked like a burner phone, right? I don't know. Maybe not, but it was weird. So then he kept taking photos and then he'd take a phone call and be looking at me.
He was like trying to figure out how to kidnap you.
And I was like, what the hell? So I'm in this park and I just thought, okay, well, it's daytime. There's a few people around. And so I was like, maybe I'm paranoid. He's not following me. So I like started zigzagging through these bushes. I would go here and over here and he was following me on the phone. And I just got scared. So then I walked to the monument and there was just this old lady sweeping. And I was just kind of standing there like, well, he's not going to take me with her standing there. And he comes up to me, puts his arm around me and is like taking more. And I go, please, like, stop. I don't want any more photos. Just please go away. Oh and then he like walks away and like does this and then like gets on his phone again. And I literally took off running and I ran all the way to my hotel and I told them about it. Cause when I was running down the road, I then turned and he was coming down the road. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I was legit about to get like kidnapped.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I've been to a lot of dangerous countries and no issues.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of being aware of your surroundings.
Absolutely.
Like, because anyone that's also going to do something bad or try to do something bad to you, they're watching you for a little bit before to see if you're someone that they could. Yeah.
Are you more aloof on your phone, not paying attention? Are you like carrying yourself with confidence, vigilant of your surroundings? Right. Absolutely.
And that's like 101 right there when you're traveling, like walk with confidence.
Yes.
Like
Don't
try
have
to not-
valuables.
right.
Don't stand out. Yeah.
Right. And try to not like they say like in New York City, the cab drivers look for the people that walk out and just do this. Because then they're like, okay, we can drive them ways that they don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore because it's GPS, but
Sure.
you know, that kind of thing. It's like, look confident.
Yeah.
But that is just terrifying because like, yeah, you were.
Yeah, no, it was scary. And then I remember I kept like after I'd come out of my room, out of the hotel, I was like, is he gonna is he around?
Yeah.
But
paranoid.
it was fine. And you know, I have this motto of like most people while traveling want to help you, not hurt you.
Yeah.
And I have had situations where I have some crazy travel stories where people, like
share one with us.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to share two because they're really good.
Good.
So one, I was in Georgia, the country, and I was in Tbilisi, and I was going with this girl that was a cousin of my friend here in LA, but she couldn't speak much English. But we were going to these vineyards. We wanted to go for sunset. So we're in this old van and we're in the middle of nowhere, and the van driver goes over like a big pothole and he blows the 2 tires out on the driver's side, the front and back. And we're like, you know, probably 60 miles outside of Tbilisi. It's dark. I have no cell phone reception. So I'm like, oh my God, this is the start of a horror film. So he's trying to fix the tires, but like they're like blown.
Yeah, and usually you only have 1 spare, not 2.
Exactly. So he's trying to call a tow truck. I'm like, okay, we need a hitchhike. So I literally just like put my thumb out. No one's stopping. I'm like, oh my God. So finally, I put my thumb out. This man and his pregnant daughter stop. And the girl, the Georgian girl, her name's Mari, she started talking to them, kind of telling them our situation. And they were like, well, come to our house, have some dinner and red wine, and you can wait for your tow truck. So
This
I'm like,
also sounds like a horror film.
yeah, I know.
Holy shit.
I know. But I just have I have such a great intuition that I was like, nah, these are good people.
Yeah, pregnant woman's not.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So we go there. They bring out all this food. I mean, I didn't eat. I felt bad because it was not food that I would eat. Like, I mean, they brought like just fish out, like cold, like the whole fish, like they just pull it out of a pond. And like, you know, it was, for them, it's normal. For me, like in my Western kind of privileged white way, like it just, you know, but,
You couldn't do it.
yeah, but I didn't eat, but I was like, I'll have some red wine. Sure. And in Georgia, they have a thing where you have red wine and there's like a cone on the glass, right? So you can't put it down. So what's in your glass? You have to drink all of it before you can put it down.
Put it down.
And it's like tradition. You do a toast and then you drink. It's like the blood of Christ, right? So every time your wine glass is full, somebody does a toast.
Yep.
You toast and then you have to, and you're like chugging red wine. Needless to say, we're there for 3 hours. I have a little bit of salad.
You're hammered.
I'm hammered. Like when I say hammered, like blacked out.
Yeah.
The tow truck comes, we get back to the city. I go to another bar and then I had a flight that morning to Armenia actually. And I kind of don't there's like a gap where I don't remember, but I just remember being at the airport so drunk, just thinking like, and also I messed up my flight time. So I was there like 4 hours early and I hadn't
better
slept.
early than late.
But I was just like, what the fuck? And they gave me these Coca-Cola 2-liter bottles full of red wine. And I'm just thinking like, I can't fucking take these with me. So I had to like get rid of them at the airport, just put them on the side. And I'm just like, what is going on? And I look through my phone and I have, to this day, I have photos of this entire family. It's like a family of 8, like laying on them, like videos. There's a video of me crying because they're like toasting to me. And there's a guy translating kind of, and he's like, the man is saying they're going to name the daughter. The girl's having a daughter after you. And they want her to be as beautiful and kind as you. And they're going to name her Katy. And I'm just like, crying. I'm like, what the heck? That was just a crazy story. Now, my other story, I was in Bosnia. And I wanted to, I love sunsets. If you know me, you know I love a good sunset.
Okay.
I will scale a tower for a good sunset. So
I also love, sorry to cut you off, I love when people clap for the sunset.
do they? Oh, I'm not a clapper.
But like, have you been to like Brazil? I know they do that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cute, actually. Maybe I'll start doing that.
But you haven't noticed that
No,
anywhere?
uh-uh.
Like they don't do it a lot here in America, but
Yeah.
I've seen it sometimes at like Venice Beach, and I'll know like those people are not from here.
Right.
But like in Brazil, that's like a big thing. They clap at the sunset.
Okay, right.
Or no, it would rise in Brazil. Where is it? Argentina, maybe? I don't know. It's somewhere. There's a South American country where it's a big thing.
yeah.
But like, I know I've seen it, and I think that's like special because
I
it's
think
like,
they've done that in Ibiza as well.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like a Latin or like Spanish Portuguese thing. I'm not sure, but yeah. So I love a sunset. So there's a Turkish mosque in Mostar, Bosnia, that they say you got to go to the top for sunset.
Okay.
So my friend Ashley and we go get these Turkish delights, and we're running to get to this mosque. And we get there, and the guy's like, no more. You have to wait till people come down. And I'm like, no, sir, I got to get up there. Please, just let us go up. Please, we're here one day. He's like, okay, go. And I go, do you want us to because you had to get a ticket and pay. Now, here's where the indiscrepancy happened, is that when you pay him, you get a ticket, and he rips the ticket in half, gives you one side, and then he puts it on the bulletin board, the other ticket. He says, no, just pay when you come down, because we were rushing. So we're like, okay.
Uh-oh.
So we go to the top, we're up there, we're taking photos, eating our Turkish delight, taking in the sunset and the city. All the people are kind of starting to leave, starting to trickle down. And we're like, well, cool. We got this all to ourselves, right? And we're getting great photos, and it starts to get a little dark, a little chilly. My phone's dead. I kind of got to pee. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So I noticed like 10 minutes before that the lights went off on the staircase. And when you're in those Turkish mosques, it's like this long, skinny thing. It's like a round staircase, like cement, very old.
Yeah, similar like some of the trying to blank on the name, but like in Italy when
like
I was,
basilicas, churches,
Yeah, all those.
So yeah.
cathedral, that was the word I was looking for.
Yes, exactly. So basically, we're coming down the stairs. There's all these pigeons, and it's dark, and there's no light. I was like, maybe there's an automatic light when you start walking down. Why would there be an automatic light in a building built in 1600? I don't know, Katy. The brain wasn't. So anyway, my friend uses her cell phone light, and we're coming down the stairs, and we get to the middle floor, and all the lights are off, and I'm like, and I just got this sinking feeling, and I go, Ashley, I think we're locked in. She's like, no, babe, no. I go, no. So I run down the stairs to the bottom floor, and I run to the door, and it's just chained, padlock. And like the windows are all like, there's bars on them. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm freaking out. Like, I'm like, was this planned? Are they going to like, a van's going to come at 2 a.m. and kidnap us? Or what now I have to pee, and like, I can't pee in like, a mosque, like all
Right.
is, what am I going to do? And we're running out of food and water. My phone's dead. And pure like chaos and panic for a little bit, and there was no one.
It's because they count the tickets
They
that are on
counted
the
the
bulletin
tickets,
board,
and they thought all the people had come
had
down.
left
They forgot
because there was
about us.
Yeah.
So there was no one around for a bit, and then it was prayer time. So all the speakers are going off. So one lady, because this mosque specifically wasn't used anymore for prayer time. But this one lady comes, and I'm like, help us. She can't speak English, but she sees. I'm like, we're stuck. Like, I'm showing her the thing, and so she like has to run and get somebody, and they come, and they're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So they run, and slowly like more people come, but then they didn't seem like as panicked. They were just like, okay. And then they kind of would leave, and I'm like, are they coming back?
They're like, we caught an angel.
And I'm just like, what's going on? So finally, after like an hour, because they have to find the guy that has the key.
Right.
But he's
asleep.
at prayer. No, he's at prayer time at a
right.
different mosque.
Yeah.
So they have to wait for prayer time to be done, and then figure out what mosque he's at.
Oh my gosh.
So finally he comes, he lets us out. I'm like, thank you. And he goes, go and tell no one of this ever. We're like, okay. And then he was like, the tickets are something. And I was like, I'm not paying you. I just got stuck in there for an hour. You're not getting paid, sir. Sorry. Adios. And we left. But I was just like, I was locked in a Turkish mosque in Bosnia.
When you travel, especially like someone like you, like the percentage of incidences goes up,
Yeah.
you're taking more risks.
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
every time we get in a car and drive, it's like the percentage changes, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're in another country, especially when you go to places where they've never seen a blonde woman before,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I always think sometimes like, man, my luck is going to run dry one of these days. I just think, especially with some of the places I go, because I'll go to like level 4, do not travel. Like when I was in Lebanon, I wanted to go to the Baalbek region, and that is like where Hezbollah is was formed, created. But there's a lot of like ancient architecture, beautiful. I was just like, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to ask a local what they think. Because I don't like to believe what I read on a lot of these, because so much of it's like fear mongering and media and sensationalizing stuff. And I'm just like, I'd rather just, I hired a driver, a local Lebanese guy. He took me there. I was treated like a celebrity.
Yeah.
They take me around. They're giving me free lunch, free this, free that, free t-shirt, free flag, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, this is a do not travel level 4. And I've made about 16 friends. I'm like, yeah, it was cool.
Well, the locals, and you'll see it. I know you've seen it, but it's like when you go to some of these places, like, you know, the media will say like the tourism is ruining the culture and blah, blah, blah. But then when you get there, they're so grateful you're there.
So grateful, because so many of these countries, their GDP is all tourism. I mean, all the money they absolutely need it, especially countries like Thailand. And, you know, they need the tourism. I mean, COVID was a huge blow to a lot of different countries. I mean, the millions of dollars that these countries lost. But no, they, you know, and one thing I've gotten online before is like this cultural appropriation thing, and how, you know, when I went to Thailand or Peru, the people were the ones dressing me in these clothes.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, you know, like people from my hometown in Iowa would be like, oh, well, do they like that you're wearing? And I'm like, they're the ones dressing me in that. So if they were offended, I would absolutely not do that. But they feel pride. They feel proud when
they want to share.
Exactly.
The people getting offended thing is just happening here in this country.
And it is. And I talk about that in other countries too. They always say, oh, you're American. Oh, well, what's this like? And, oh, you guys get really offended easily. Or, oh, you know, and I'm just like, yeah.
It's because people got it so good. They don't know what to do.
That's the problem is privilege. And people want to have this, you know, they want to sit on this chair of self-righteousness. But it's like, no, actually go travel and see how privileged you are. And like, do you think people in war-torn countries and refugee camps are bitching about some of the things that people here bitch about?
Yeah.
And a lot of times the people that are quote unquote offended aren't even the minority of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, go travel and really go see real problems.
Yeah.
See gang violence and cartel and people, women bringing their children to a better life. That is problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and like everyone in this country has some sort of privilege when you look at like how, like what it takes to live in our country versus living in other countries.
Yeah.
And cartels, like, no joke. And I think I can talk about this because she has publicly talked about it on her platform. I had a girl on, Maya.
Okay.
And her boyfriend, Eddie, they're both stunningly beautiful people.
Yeah.
And they're travelers. They're so like smart, educated, like very like, you and her would get along so great because you're both like super smart and like women, empowering women. Like you guys would get along.
Yeah.
She went down to Mexico with her boyfriend. They drove down.
Yeah.
They went to go do some special hike. It's a touristy hike. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
But they drove because they live in Arizona. So like I get it. It's not people in California drive down to Mexico all the time.
Yeah.
Like why would you fly when you can drive? And they were driving back and they got pulled over by the federales.
Okay.
And the federales wanted to search their car. They wanted to pull her out of the car. Like that's really what it was. They saw her, they're like, beautiful, we want to look, you know?
Yeah.
Which sucks. But they were going through her car and she didn't remove her concealed weapon that she has a permit to have in the US. It was under her seat. She forgot about it.
Yeah.
They freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
They arrested them. They took all their the federales took their wallet, took all their money, took their passports, took the car, don't know where the car went, took their phones, locked them both up.
Wow.
And then they went in front of a judge. He took the rap on it and said that she had nothing to do with it. So they deported her back to the U.S. He's still this happened before Thanksgiving. He's still in a prison there.
Oh my gosh.
They hired a lawyer. The lawyer took the 15 grand, 20 grand, whatever, and then just disappeared, didn't do anything. They hired another lawyer. He did the same thing.
Oh my gosh.
So I cooked for the consulate general down in Mexico, the U.S. consulate general, and I called her.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I was like, I'm going to be able to be the one to help. Like,
Yeah.
I know like government people in Mexico for the U.S. Like, I can solve this. I was like, fuck, this will be so important. So I call her. I tell her what happened. I tell her, she was like, well, what's the city? What jail is he at? So I get all that information. I send it over to her. She calls me back. She goes, I can't do anything. She's like, that's all cartel run. She's like, my phone call won't do anything. I was like, holy shit. Like, they were stopped by police. They just did what they thought they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And now he's been there for 2 months in this tiny little cartel run jail.
How long is his sentence? Like how?
That part I don't know. They're trying to get him out, and it's just
is it like Sinaloa?
I would have to look.
Okay.
But it it's like they just want money, and they're not going to let him go until they get the amount of money they want.
Yeah.
Which is like terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's if they wouldn't have the gun, there wouldn't have been that problem. But it's also, people have to remember, like, other countries are not understanding.
No.
Like,
I mean, look at Russia with Brittany. What's her name?
Yeah, Brittany Garner.
Yeah, I mean, she. I
have so many things to say about that. It's like,
or Indonesia. If you get caught with you get the death penalty. There is a zero tolerance. It is the death penalty. And you really have to, as a traveler, you have to look at the local laws. I just went to Saudi Arabia last month. Incredible place, by the way. But they have rules and, like dress codes and this and that. And you have to really
follow.
Yeah, you have to. That's just what it is.
You can't act like America's going to save you over there.
Exactly. And you can't act like the Western standard is a world standard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because it is not. It's a cakewalk over here. I mean, like Singapore, you went to Singapore. Like, if you spit on the sidewalk, they will cut your tongue out.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading, because obviously, like we talked about going to Thailand, it was like, you can't say anything derogatory about their king.
No, nothing.
If you say anything bad, you're getting locked up.
Yeah. There's
like
pictures everywhere of him.
Right.
You'll see.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if both sides of the coin, if someone here in the U.S. talking shit about Biden or shit about Trump, and then you got locked up?
I know.
Like,
so many countries, it's like that. So many countries don't have just the basic liberty of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And it's like people take so many of their freedoms and rights and liberties for granted.
Yeah.
So
it's wild. I mean, but you you learn this. You and I have learned these things, and you've gotten just an immense education of what the rest of the world is like. And it's good that you're doing it to share it too, because I think that is important.
Yeah.
Because you do have the privilege and the ability to go do that stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't take it for granted. And that's what's important.
Yeah.
Like, I've been lucky to travel because of my job, because of what I'm doing, not like a lot of the travel has not been because I've had the finances to do it. Like, that's new for me. But like before, it was just like, I wanted to travel to places because work took me there. That was like my goal. And it did. And then when you do that, you learn, like, it's good here, even for the people that think it's bad. Like, it's so good.
No, totally. I mean, when you see these countries in like extreme poverty, like Egypt and India, and you see the standard and the unsanitary conditions, you're just like, oh my gosh, I am so lucky to just live in a house with running water and proper sanitation and sewage and electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah. Okay, let's play a game.
Okay.
Here I am demonstrating why it is a bad idea to splash around sharks. If you splash and run away like this, it mimics prey and is something that only a prey item would do,
then when the shark's
which will cause the shark to be a lot more interested in you, which you can see because the shark continues to follow me here. The best thing to do in this situation is to turn and face the shark, give them eye contact, and then with larger species like tiger sharks, push them down on the top of the head to create that extra space, which is only something I would suggest to do as a last resort.
I would have pissed my pants.
Look how calm she did that.
That's what I mean. She's acting like it's like a dog. Here,
just go this way, buddy.
Oh my God. My heart was racing sitting here. I wonder what hers was like.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, have you ever swam with sharks?
Yes. And I actually, it's so funny because I did it in Hawaii and I was like telling my friends, like, let's go do it. It's not scary. I ended up being the one crying. Help! Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me.
Were you in a cage or were you like...
I was in a cage. But the cage didn't have a top. And then like, there's the bars. And the sharks, there were so many sharks. I just kept picturing them like biting my fingers, like around the bars. Or I thought, because they kept jumping out for the chum.
That they were going to jump in.
I'm like, one of them's going to fucking jump right in here with us.
Yeah.
Because that happened once on the Discovery Channel.
You probably made the smart decision.
And I was like, and I was I literally cried. I actually stayed in though, because the boat driver was like, Katy, nothing has ever, you're safe. I was like,
oh my god.
But I stayed in. I stayed in.
Goodness. What do I got next? Okay.
The most important thing to do when you're in the water with sharks is to look around the entire time. So as you notice some of the sharks moving up closer to you, you don't want to just look at them with your eyes. You actually want to look at them with your whole body. That means turning and completely facing that shark that is the closest to you.
No, I
never. I would. What is that person doing?
I know. I'm like, oh no. I would literally start doing the wrong thing. I would do what she said not to do in that other video. Yeah. Don't swim away. You'll mimic prey. That's what I would have been eating in a second.
Prey.
I would have been lunch meat.
I mean, I get such anxiety watching that. You like paddleboarding?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Doing Marina Del Rey on Sundays.
Let's rent paddle boards. It will be fun, she said.
The worst thing you can do, stand up without the paddle. Now what?
You're right, babe. It was hilarious.
You know what? This happened to me in March. I was in the Maldives. And I had my phone. And the guy was like, you want to take your phone? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And he was thinking in his head, he told me after I fell, he was like, dang, I was thinking this girl must be a pro if she's like wants to take her phone. So I go out there and I get on it and I'm pretty good at paddleboarding, but it was really rough. Mm-hmm. So I was like, nah, fuck, I'm taking my phone back. So I take my phone back and put it in the locker. Then I go back out and I'm like, Justin, that's my roommate. I'm like, take some videos and photos of me. So he's like getting some photos and videos. And then like all of a sudden I'm like, oh no. And I wish he would have been recording, but I totally fall. And he gets a picture right when I'm like this into the water. My hat flies off.
Oh my goodness.
My bikini top's like up here. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I totally busted it, but it was funny.
I got one more game.
Yeah.
I like to do this. I like to bring people into my world with exercising your palate. Okay. Are you up for doing a blind taste test?
Yeah, but
it's not. I already know all your.
Oh, you do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You're celiac, gluten free.
Yeah, gluten free, and then no beef or pork.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we asked about that.
Okay.
I make it like I'm like where there's gonna be lunch on set, and it's so I can make sure.
Do this? Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. I'm excited.
What was the food like on the show? I meant to ask you that. You don't have to put that on yet. What was the food like on the show? Was it rough?
Yeah. They would like go grocery shopping or sometimes they'd get like fucking Chick-fil-A or
so it was
just
really
like
hard
Subway.
for you.
Yeah, for me, I was living off like Fruity Pebbles and like
Fruity Pebbles are gluten free?
Yeah.
Man.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I love Fruity Pebbles though, but you can't just live off that.
No, I was eating Fruity Pebbles and what else did I have? I don't even know. I can't remember.
We got so into travel, like we haven't even talked about the show really.
I know.
Do you, like, aside from the food, were they just like pumping you guys full of alcohol? Did it feel like that?
No, they actually would cut us off. And I'm like, no, but they would give us like Andre champagne. I always remember. I'm like, fuck, Andre. Sometimes they'd let us get, like my last episode at the campground. Did you see that one? Mm-hmm. I was tanked.
Were you?
Wasted.
Did you make it to the swings? Did you do the swing? The carnival swing?
Yeah, I went on the swings.
What was her name? Bree, that
fell.
So hammered.
She is so hilarious.
She's funny.
So her and Annie were my roommates.
Okay.
And it was so much fun, like living with Bree is just hilarious. Like so funny.
Was it three of you to a room?
It was Monica, Rachel, Annie, Bree and I. So 5 of us. And then Monica left the first night. And then Rachel left later after our little tiff. And yeah, and actually when I go to New York, well, if I go, I'm staying with Annie the first night from
cool.
the show.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, and I'm seeing Annie and Doris. So.
All right, let's play this game.
Yeah.
Throw this on for me.
Okay.
No, and I've done this probably 30, 40 times. I'm going to spoon feed you.
Oh, please don't give me like a fucking hot, spicy thing. I'm going to
I never do spicy. I do everyday stuff
Okay, cool.
that you have had.
Okay.
But now that you don't have your vision,
Yeah.
it's different.
Okay.
Okay. So there's nothing hard, nothing.
Okay.
All right. So I'll say open up. I'll put the spoon in your mouth. You'll take it, and then you can describe it if you want. If you immediately know, or if you're perplexed, just talk about it.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Here we go. Open up.
Okay. Oh, carrot. I love carrot.
That's always that's like my yeah, it's like the baseline.
Okay. It took me a minute to get that taste.
It's always funny. I have people that are like, oh, it's very green, and I'm just like, it's not green. All right, ready for the next one?
Yep.
Okay. Open up.
It's not like a cucumber. It's crunchy. It's like a carrot. Is it a carrot?
No.
I thought you were tricking me.
That's
Is
funny.
it? It wasn't a cucumber. Are you sure it's not a carrot?
You give up?
It's a potato. Is it a potato?
No, but I could see how you'd think it's a raw potato.
Yeah, it tastes like a raw potato.
It's a radish.
I don't think I've ever had a radish.
What?
Yeah.
You went to like Thailand and never had a radish?
I don't know. I don't think I've had a radish.
You've had a radish.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe in a salad. That was a good one. Okay. Yeah.
All right, open up.
Blackberry.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, this is a chefy ingredient.
Okay.
It's used a lot. All right, last one. Open up.
Okay. Oh my God, I know. It's like on the tip of my tongue. What is it?
It's literally on the tip of your tongue.
Oh my God, it's going to drive me insane. Fuck. Okay, I don't know what.
Tomato paste.
Oh, duh.
All right, you can take the blindfold off.
I was like, oh, I tasted it. Tomato paste.
2 for 2.
Dang
Two out
it.
of 4. Have you thought about doing a podcast for your travels? Like making that into a podcast?
Maybe. I feel like my makeup's smeared everywhere. Maybe, possibly. I want to learn how to do these videos first.
Oh, right. We're going to talk about this.
Yeah. on
It's
TikTok.
exhausting.
Yeah. But I have so much
You have
video
so much
content.
Right. For you, I mean, it's the travel, like getting on the plane and getting to the destination. Once you're in the destination, there's so much content. You're just filming yourself in it. Like, do you ever get in like a loophole where you're watching food videos?
Well, I don't really watch TikTok. That's the thing. I'm trying to learn.
But
I mostly
Instagram,
when I
Instagram
do.
Reels?
Yeah, mostly lately I've been watching reels about either travel or how to have your man act right. Because he ain't acting right.
I kind of I wish you would have went further on the show because obviously on the show
Well, do you know what happened? Okay, see, a lot of people don't know this. Yeah. So before the show, we had to quarantine for 15 days because of COVID.
Yep.
And during that time, my best friend died. So it was this tragedy where it was do I leave or do I stay on the show because that's happened? And I was really in a tug of war of what do I do? It was really hard for me. And I talked to her husband and her parents who I'm very close with. And they were just, do what you need to do, stay. And I just thought okay, maybe if I do find love, maybe in this rare opportunity, I do find love. Cause I had told her about the show and I was yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is my little hurrah of a random fairy tale story. And so, yeah. And then once I got there, and I saw the production schedule and how I didn't have a connection with the guys. I wasn't really into them. I was like, fuck, I'm like wasting my time. I could have like been at my best friend's bedside.
So the whole time, like mentally,
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And like I was crying all the time. And I saw that in one of the trailers, like they had me bawling, but then they never actually put that in the show. And I talked about what I was going through a lot in my interviews and stuff, and they never showed any of that. And I was kind of surprised at how the editing went down and how little I was shown, because I really thought I was kind of going to be one of the main characters. And I was edited out of most of the show, which, you know, I thought like, yeah, I know that they want the drama and stuff, but there is an element of like, there's also this relatable girl that's like on a dating show trying to find love, but also like has this tragedy that just happened. You know, her best friend just died of breast cancer, like took a bad turn. And I feel like that kind of tugs at heartstrings, and people can relate to that because most people have had somebody that they know has passed from cancer. So what I can share with you, and maybe you know or not, but they get all that from all of you. They compile all this footage, and then as the people make it further, they use those stories as like the spine of the show. Yep. So if you would have made it further, you would have been in the edit a lot more. They would have gone with your story. They would have taken it that way. Yep. Which it's good to know that, but then also at the same time, it's like what was I gonna say? Like they can manipulate you so easily. Yeah. Like for instance, like when you're like, well, maybe this is my this is my shot. Maybe I could go on this show and maybe that is the guy, right? Yeah. Like there's a part of us when we sign up that there is a chance. Yeah. And I think it's something that's in anyone that goes on a reality competition show. Yeah. Where like in some way, shape or form, we're dreamers. Yeah, well, and they're so good at manipulating. I mean, even when they said, "Oh, you know, you're one of the favorites to win," they probably told every single girl that. I mean, that's what they do. Or like, I mean, there was a lot of girls that wanted to go home after a few days, me included. I was like, this isn't my thing. And they talk you into staying. And they talk me into. They're like, no, but you're gonna blow up on Instagram. You're gonna have 1 million followers and getting 20 grand to blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god, I want to go home. Like, I'm not finding a love connection. I was making friends, which was amazing. Yeah. But I knew that I could have those friendships outside of the house as well. Yeah, exactly. You know? So. My grandfather, while I was filming, MasterChef had some health complications and they were really bad, and he's fine. He's still alive. Okay, good. Okay. But they didn't tell me. And they were aware. They knew. They found out because they were trying to fly. Like, because I made it all the way to the finale. I was crushing it. Yeah. And so they knew about this and like didn't tell me. Yeah. Told my family didn't tell me, and I don't know if they told my family not to tell me. Yeah. It was a whole thing, but it was like, because if they would have told me, I'd have walked right out. Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, the silver lining was that. So, firstly, I wasn't myself. I mean, so many people watched it and they're like, Katy, that was not you. You were I can already see that. So quiet and just like you were like but they knew what I was going through. Right. But the one good thing is when I got out, I literally got my phone and had all these messages because they didn't have my phone for 4 weeks, whatever. My best friend's mom had written me and said, hey, we've decided to do the funeral this Saturday. I'm not sure if you're still filming, but if you get this, I hope you can make it. And this was on like a Wednesday. So I got to make the funeral, which I was like, thank God, because I would have been so upset if I would have missed that. Yeah. So yeah. That's good. But do you have any desire to do any other TV shows? No, I'm not interested. I just, there's bits of it that are fun when you get to watch yourself back on TV, and that part's great. But like the actual production, the manipulation, the scheduling, it's just not for me. What about like Amazing Race, or like, because all these countries? Like, yeah, maybe. I mean, I thought about like if I had my own travel show, I would love that. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I will say this, because I've been, since I was on MasterChef, I've been trying to get my own show, because at first, like, my contract wouldn't let me even be on other TV shows. So, and every time I got offers, I was still in the contract, and MasterChef would say no. And it was like, man, this sucks. Like, this is ruining my future as a TV personality, chef personality, whatever. And then, so I pitched a lot. And I wasn't necessarily pitching a traveling show. It was a traveling show, but more from my music background, because I used to tour as a professional drummer.
Okay.
So I've lived out on the road.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to just hit the road like a musician, but as a chef, and just go cook for people in different cities.
Yep.
And they were like, well, everything I heard was everyone wants a travel show. Everyone wants to be Anthony Bourdain.
Yep.
We don't want to hear it.
Yep.
The difference is with you, like you've been to more countries than like most of the people that have travel shows, right? Like, so you come from a way more, like, you're like a professor walking in the door going, I want to travel. I think, honestly, you could have it. You just got to figure out what it is. And I think literally with your resume of travel, you could walk into any network and say, this is what I've done. This is what I want to do. And I can promise you it's going to work. Like, I think you have that ability.
Thank you.
Just the way you list off the cities and the countries and like, you have a core memory with 93 countries. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, I thought about, because I had this issue with like not being very scared of many things. So I'm kind of like, I think a little bit fucking crazy. And I'm like, I will go into Afghanistan when you know what I mean? I'll go into these countries that no one else is going to go into.
Yeah.
I'll go in there and get interviews or get footage or tell a real story or whatever, kind of like Vice does a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm like this little blonde girl that's like, whatever, that looks, I don't want to say, a lot of people say, oh, Katy, you're so much smarter than you look. I'm like, thanks for the backhanded compliment. But, I would just love to go to countries like that, like real. I don't want to go to, I don't know, some of these normal destinations that people go. I want to go to like fucking Turkmenistan.
Right.
And I want to go to like, it's called the Door to Hell. And I want to show you why that gasoline has been burning since 1978, because these soldiers threw fire down and it's been lit ever since. And I want to show these things that like no one's going to see. But when you see it, you're like, holy shit, that's cool. That's interesting. Turkmenistan, what? That's a dictatorship? Oh, the king's really crazy. Well, can't even say that, but you know what I mean? Like just these really obscure, interesting countries that no one's really heard about. But then when I start telling you about it, it brings you in.
Look, I'm just like, keep going.
Yeah, like it brings you in.
But so you've been there and you already have.
No, I've not been to Turkmenistan. That's on my list. I want to go.
But so some of the countries that you have been to, a lot of the countries, you have footage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want to put together a sizzle?
Yeah. So I already have one on my Instagram, actually.
Okay.
That one's more about like, that's like my one model. That's my women empowerment.
Okay.
And I would love to get that off the ground, but I'd love to even kind of mesh that with like me going to places where, like I said, women aren't really, because in that sizzle, I'm going to like European places and whatever. I want to go to like, I want to talk to women in Syria.
Yeah.
And like what they're going through, women that are sitting in refugee camps, like stuff like that. And then maybe we could go with the angle of like still social media, because these people still have like social media and Instagram. Well, what's it like? What's it like as a woman in this country on social media?
Yeah.
What are the negative effects? What are you going through?
Yeah.
What's the pressures here? So there's so many different angles and layers you can, I just need to get really specific with it, but.
Yeah. There's a girl, I don't know her name. I'll share it with you.
Yeah.
On Instagram. She does these cooking videos and she lives somewhere in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. And every time she's stunning. She's so beautiful and she's such a good cook, like watching her. Yeah. And I just wonder, I'm like, what is her daily life like?
Yeah.
Because you can tell when you see the background, like it's
basic.
But she has social media and she has so many followers.
Yeah.
But that runs through it. A lot of people aren't thinking that way though. They're not thinking about the first world life in some of these second and third world countries. Right. Yeah. That's kind of a wild perspective.
So wild.
And I think you probably, I don't know what your footage looks like, but you probably have enough footage to edit something together and put a voiceover over it to like sell that style of a.
Yeah, I have a voiceover on mine. I'll show you it. But yeah.
I'll let you get going.
Okay.
I've enjoyed this talk. I think we should do it again and talk about more travel stuff and
perfect.
And maybe do some foods from around the world or something. I don't know, but
that'd be fun.
I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like picking a contestant off of a dating show.
Yeah.
You know, it comes with a stigma.
Sure.
Because it's like, well, why would they go on the show? And I'm like, I know why. And and we're gonna go talk about it because it's not what you think. Yeah. Right. It's so not what you think.
Yeah.
And then it always leads to something bigger and better. So I look forward. I'm so excited to follow you on Instagram now and see where you go and ask you travel questions if you'll answer.
Yeah. Please. Yeah. Thailand. Yeah. Let me know.
I can't wait. All right. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to A Bunch of Losers with me, Derrick Fox. Please comment below if you guys have questions for any of these guests. I'm sure they would love to answer, and I'll answer as well. So let me know below. Also, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, and then also make sure you're following us on Instagram, A Bunch of Losers with Derrick Fox, so you get the update on the new episodes. We will be launching them weekly. All right. Thanks, losers.
Action.